we're going to list out the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Covrprice's data. Here we go. At number 10, we've talked about this book. We got Geiger, number 1, black and white, thank you, variant. At number 9, we have the Berserker, number 1, second print foil. I mean, come on, are there like 700,000 copies of this book out there? It's insane. At number 8, we have Geiger, number 1, cover B variant. At number 7, we have Death by Life, number 1, Antarctic Press. At number 6, we have Berserker, number 1, third print foil. At number 5, we have Shadecraft, number 1. We were talking about Shadecraft earlier. At number 4, we have all new Wolverine, number 1, hip hop variant. This is the DMX cover. Rest in peace. He was. It's just a shame. Number 3 is The Rise, number 1, heavy metal. And number 2 is ENIAC number 2. I am eagerly anticipating this issue. I have not read that yet. I haven't even gotten it yet, but I will be getting it. And at number 1, we have Geiger, number 1, cover A. So, guys, that's our top 10 list right there.
Love that A cover for Geiger.
Isn't it? It looks incredible. Yeah. Actually, all those Geiger covers, I'm really, really liking all of them. But Chris, what do you got here for your interesting picks?
Yeah, so I usually pick 3 out that are interesting, whatever the reasons may be. But this week I couldn't do it again. I couldn't do it because there is something else going on that absolutely needs to be talked about. For one, poor DC's getting left out. All right. There's only one Marvel book. So if there's no DC, and rest in peace DMX, obviously that's why that book hit this list. So if DC is left out, there's only one Marvel book. What's going on? Because nobody reads comic books anymore, right? Ha! Dude, let me tell y'all, this is all about indies. And Jeff, the funny thing about this is it wasn't that long ago that we had a very similar week. I want to say maybe 5-6 weeks ago, we had another week that was dominated by indies. And I said, screw it. We're indie love, baby, all day long. This is another one of those situations. Now, you had 9 indie books. Some of them, the Geiger had, 3, I believe, right? The cover B and then the second print or whatever. So I get that. But I took some notes here and I want everyone to pay attention to this. All right. People who are naysayers of comic books in the comic book market, listen to this, what this list consists of. All right. First off, let's name how many independent publishers made the top 10 list in 1 week. 5. Out of 10 books, 3 being Geiger. 5 different independent publishers. You got Image, right? You got Bad Idea. You got Boom, right? You got Heavy Metal. And what's the fifth one?
Antarctic Cross, Death by Life.
There you go. Thank you so much. 5 independent publishers, right? And that's not it. So focusing on the 5 publishers, though, it goes to show you, we talked so long, all of our lives, at least people our age, probably younger and older, though. The big two. The market isn't even like that anymore. Now, don't get it twisted here on what I'm trying to say. We know what Marvel and DC are, all right? But this just goes to show you that there are people out there buying books from publishers because they are interested in what these other publishers are doing, and there's a market for them. That is an absolute beautiful thing. But I also want to point this out as well. There's 5 other things to focus on too. And you know what that is? Genre. Out of the 9 independent books from 5 different publishers, there's 5 different genres. All right, let's review them. There's Geiger, which you can say is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi. It's one genre. You got Berserker, superhero genre, but it's superhero action genre. You got Death by Life in the Rise, which are the horror genre, Shadecraft, supernatural genre, and ENIAC, sci-fi thriller genre. So again, the diversity in these books is absolutely amazing to me personally. So that's why I had to discuss this top 10 like this. Really, the market is so diverse right now, and people are seeing that. People are reading it. We just had, Rock and Robbie, pop culture philosophers, on last week, and he reviewed some of these books in our Fresh from the Comic Shop from last week. And one thing that I said, I brought him up in my live stream that I did on my show today about how there's always those people that say people don't read comic books anymore. And here's a guy like Robbie, pop culture philosophers, who has a YouTube channel that has over 10,000 subscribers, who gets thousands of views. And all he does, for the most part, 99% of the time, is weekly reviews on not what's selling the hottest, not what's breaking sales records, not what's being speculated on because some movie release, but he does reviews on the stories. He reads the books, comes to YouTube, says this. I call him the Siskel and Ebert of comic books, the Siskel and Ebert of YouTube in the comic book community, because he's telling you about these stories, and thousands of people are watching. People are buying these books. They're enjoying these books. There's a lane and an avenue for these independent publishers to get a piece of this pie right now, and I am loving it. And also it goes to show you that we comic book fans, we like different things, and there's something out there for everyone. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Post-apocalyptic sci-fi, superhero action, horror, supernatural, sci-fi thriller, guys. There is something there for absolutely anyone. It's beautiful.
Chris, you break it down again. I like what the bearded one says here. I brought this up earlier. I think the indie domination is a sign that new readers are in the hobby.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. Like, Drew, I know that you your business is a majority like older books. But what do you think about this kind, especially a list like this, a top 10 hottest comics list? Like, it's impressive.
I tell you, I'm really appreciative of Bueller right now, because the only reason I know most of these names is because Coffee and Comics is kind of my Monday ease into the work week. Just put that on and drink coffee and chill. So I at least have heard of most of these, so that's awesome. But even back when I was still really hot and heavy in my pull list every week, Image and the other small press publishers were the way to go if you wanted to actually read a comic. The last couple of years I worked at the store, people that would walk in and just wanted to get into comics, literally, again, wanting to read comics. Yeah, we had like Daredevil, Born Again, the Winter Soldier arc of Captain America you could point them to. But then it's like, I can sell somebody on Chew a hell of a lot easier than I can sell them on a lot of things. And those small presses, they're not afraid to take risks. They can tell the stories the way they want to tell them. They don't have to worry about paying investors, and making money with every single book. Literally, they want to make enough money so they can afford to eat and put out the next issue. So, small press is really where the good stuff has been for a long while now. So I'm not surprised by this. And honestly, I'm sitting here wishing I could probably get my hands on a copy of the A cover of Geiger. I think that ship may have sailed.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes to what it's interesting to hear you say that, especially because your business revolves around the older books. But I agree with you too, man. There's so much good stuff. I got some of my favorites are Firepower, Scumbag. Granted, those are Image books, but I'm really enjoying that. Again, ENIAC and Tankers blew me away. ENIAC was really good. Tankers I really like too. Having Robert Vendetti on here a few weeks ago, like that, really just fun. That's a fun book.
I have no doubt that I would love a lot of these. The reason I stopped reading new books is I got to a point where I was trying to go too deep. So I was spending $75 or $100 every single week. And it got to be the point where I'm just taping and filing short boxes of comics I never even got to read. And it just, the fun went out of it and started to feel like work. So that's when I had to distance myself. So I'm sure at some point I'm going to get back into it. I did actually read The Last Ronin #1. I've still got #2 sitting in there.
Good
to check out at some point. So hopefully I get to that before 3 comes out.
Yeah. 1 was good, but I thought 2 was even better. So
nice.
I'm with you there too. I'm starting to get into that point where I'm just taping things up and putting them in a box. I'm having trouble keeping up here. But the pandemic has a lot to do with that because I've been buying a lot of books because of that. But I really, really do enjoy seeing this. And again, it's not that common at all, but it's good to see. And Chris, you did it, again, as you do every week. Fantastic job.